Hey everyone, so the reason I'm filming outside is I just want to spend more time outside and do some more hiking, so thought I'd film at the same time. So yeah, that's why I'm up here. Okay, what I wanted to talk about today was 5 interesting niche private businesses that I've looked into recently. I think this might be helpful to give other people ideas into the weird niches that are out there. So yeah, I'm going to jump into that and talk to you through those 5 businesses. And I think someone out there's probably has some experience in this. And yeah, it's a weird world in the private business search phase at the moment that I'm going through. So on the previous video I made, something that I'm really focusing on is businesses that I think are unlikely or far away from getting disrupted from AI, from whatever. Mostly AI is how I'm thinking about it. So the types of businesses that I think are more unlikely to be disrupted anytime soon are things like fitness classes, yoga classes, stuff like that, hiking, exploring groups. These are all like human experiences things, I think. I think that stuff's going to be hard to replace. So children's experiences as well. So like kids dance, kids sport, stuff like that. Anything around those types of businesses I think are pretty interesting. Anything to do with professional sport, I think that's a space that's going to be around for a long time. And then just like simply restaurants, bars, and clubs. I think that stuff's pretty going to be pretty hard to disrupt. I think it's part of the human experience to eat meals together and socialize and things like that. So I then thought things with fine motor skills are going to be probably disruptable at some point in the future, but it's quite a far way away, I think. So I just don't want to waste money on something that I can't at least get 10 years out of. So that's sort of how I'm thinking about it. So here are those 5 businesses, these weird businesses that I've been looking at. The first one is a Fume cabinet manufacturing and installation business. So one of the early businesses that I found, and it appealed to me because a serial acquirer, Technion, which I've invested in, they have a fume cabinet manufacturer and installation business in their portfolio. So I was like, okay, if it's good enough for Technion, it's definitely going to be probably good enough for me. I liked a lot of the dynamics. It's B2B. The customers are schools and universities and research labs, and the fume cabinets have to be serviced each year to make sure that they're all functioning well and they're doing the job. So you have to get them certified for safety reasons. So there's like a workplace health and safety element to it. I really like that business. Another business that I found that I thought ticked a lot of my boxes was a quite unique commercial laundry business. It was in an area halfway between Adelaide and Melbourne, and that's about 1,000-kilometre stretch. And this is about halfway, about 500 kilometres between the two. And this whole area essentially, they didn't have a commercial laundry except for this one. So it serviced all of this region of Australia, and it probably was a small enough area that there probably wasn't enough space for a second competitor to come in. So they're kind of had this weird little geographic monopoly going on. So I thought that was pretty cool. And the clients were really regular. So hotels, hospitals, nursing homes, stuff like that. Yeah, they're good regular customers, good quality customers. It's mission critical to have your linen and towels and stuff cleaned. So yeah, thought that was a pretty good little business that I found. Pretty weird little niche, commercial laundry in a weird geography. Like there's obviously big commercial laundry places in big cities, but I think going in places where there's a geographic advantage is kind of interesting. Now, the next niche business I looked at quite closely was a little children's dance business. And I just think virtual reality dance, of course, that's going to be a thing in the future. But for little kids, going to, dance with other kids in a hall somewhere, I think that's just still going to be around in 10, 20 years' time. So I think maybe I feel a bit nostalgic about that one. And yeah, it's just something that I feel has got a lot of longevity to it. So I was looking at that one quite closely. The next one I was looking at was an eco packaging distribution business. So this is quite mission critical. I see cafes, restaurants, places like that, they need takeaway containers and, takeaway cups and takeaway boxes and hamburgers and whatever. So the reason I like this business was because it's got a recurring, like every week essentially you have to do a drop off at the cafes and the restaurants, because cafes and restaurants have only a certain amount of physical space, right? So a cafe might have however many square meters, 100 square meters or whatever. They can't buy in a shipping container load of packaging stuff to store on site and waste all that space that they've got only limited amount of. So they don't want all this stuff in their storage room. So therefore, distribution businesses dropping that stuff off to them weekly is a really sticky business. And it's been around for decades, and I think it's going to continue being around for decades as long as we still like to get takeaway. And yeah, I think that stuff is a pretty good business to look into. The next and last one that I'm going to cover today was a vacuum excavation business. So I don't know whether you know about these trucks, but these trucks have like a big kind of vacuum hose on the back of it, and you spray water on the ground and it sucks up the mud. And it's really quite an efficient way to dig a hole, right? And why would you need to dig a hole? Well, you need to dig trenches to run fiber optics. You need to dig down to sewage lines. You need to dig down to electrical lines. There's a lot of reasons why you need to dig trenches and suck things up, right? There's a lot of other uses for these as well, but I like the customers you have with a vac truck business is like city councils and governments and things like that, who it's just a safer way to dig. So like you're not going to cut the fiber optics that are already down there. Like that's really expensive. If you're digging that manually by hand or with a tractor, you can easily cut the fiber optics down there, and that gets really expensive. So this is a safer, it's a more economical way to dig, and I find that quite an interesting business. The problem with that though is it's got like quite serious capex. Like the trucks are expensive, and these trucks are notorious for breaking down. So didn't tick all my boxes on that one, but yeah, that's a weird group of ideas. They're the niche types of businesses that I've been looking at and I like. Back at the eco-packaging one, there's a company called McFarlane in the UK that are rolling up the packaging space. So I sort of got that idea from a company on the stock market that I'd followed in the past. I haven't invested in that company, but it's a good way to get ideas is in the companies that are on the stock market. I see what's like on a smaller scale in Australia for what they've been buying. So yeah, try to look at as many ideas as you can. Share niche businesses that you like with me as well. Oh, and regarding the stock market, I'm still heavily invested in the stock market. It's all my savings are in my Interactive Brokers account. So yeah, link in description for that. It's the best broker out there by far. It's definitely the safest, hence why I use it. All right. Hope you enjoyed this one. Hope you enjoyed the view. See you in the next one.